Rural Doc Alan Lindeman. Doc, what's going on, man? How are you?
We're doing really well here, Neil. And we're very happy today to have our new friend, Miss Pellid, Randy Pellid, with us today.
Absolutely. She's going to talk about Feld Care and a bunch of different things. Randy, thanks for stopping by. And I know Doc he's ready to go. Let's go.
All right.
Okay, pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Well, it's really nice to meet you, and I'm glad that you decided to come to join us today.
Excellent. What's your first question, Doc, for Randy?
So, I would say, we talked about this before. If you just tell us again how you got started with this and how long you've been doing it. You said pushing 3 decades.
Close to 3 decades, just getting my foot in the door and evolution of going through several different processes, but did research in occupational environmental health. And then as I gradually got, prior to my developing my own company, I was in early intervention, working with a really close friend, occupational therapist. So we're working through the 0 to 3, and then school-based and outpatient. And then I opened up a home health agency in California, excuse me, in California, which was a great experience because it gave me the inner workings of how a home health agency has to operate in order to pass their surveys for the Department of Public Health, plus obviously having to pass the surveys for the Medicare accreditation to keep their Medicare number. So it really set the stage for me to have that integral understanding of the whole picture. As I was going through the process, my personal passion is the elder community. So I found that I can actually support the community by focusing on finding occupational, physical, speech therapist, and registered dietitian, excuse me, to support the home health agencies. So it was an evolution
Right.
through time.
I was part of early intervention back in the day. I'm a former teacher who did birth to 3 developmental therapy. I was a developmental therapist, so I had to practice everything from OT to PT to speech, all of it, because a developmental therapist does all that. Is that really kind of helped you in that evolution of what Feld Care is about because of the ability to understand the youngest age in birth and understanding the developments of everything in life in so many ways, what you've been able to build?
Actually, that's a great question because we're dealing with neurological impairments when we're dealing with the, excuse me, when we're dealing with the early intervention community. So there's a foundation, right? There's a basis. And what's interesting is that the therapists that get their foot in the door and they want to work with the elder population, very there are there could be similar treatments that they use that crosses over from that early intervention world into the elder because we're dealing with like neurological pathways. So it's all there's a similar line when we go in that respect, if that answers your question.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, as just what you shared, Neil, in the early intervention and you being, I don't know if you did the ABA, but
A
you do
little
get,
bit with I've worked with autism some
right,
too, and I did some of the ABA, learned both the different types of programming and all that stuff. But really, for the birth to 3, more the focus on OT, PT, uh, speech, and developmental, which is everything. Yeah, but
ex
what a therapist needs to do in a specific session, almost doing everything in all those areas and
that's right.
understanding how they work and develop for sure.
That's right. You get the whole picture from the different disciplines and how you can actually incorporate your part in working with that child.
I see you're on both coasts. You have many, many places. So how many places do you have?
So I sit in California in Ventura County. I've been out here for about 30 years or 34 years or so. Sorry. But I am in California, in Hawaii, in Arizona, in Texas, in Florida, and in Delaware. We have a couple of other states, but yeah, there's so much need. I mean, obviously the elder population, that's a baby boomer. It is extensive, it's expansive. I mean, it's growing, what should I say? And there aren't enough therapists. We have 4,000 clinicians in our database, physical therapists, PT assistants, occupational therapists, occupational therapy assistants, speech, and a couple of registered dietitian. And I'm always going to get conventions we have a whole recruiting department in our company, but I am always going to all these different conventions, associations. We have booths in like different places. We have a home health, national home health convention coming up in October in Tampa, Florida. Unfortunately, they just got hit with a hurricane, but everyone, I hear is okay there. In any event, we're constantly recruiting therapists.
That's huge because it's got to keep going in so many ways and bringing and getting them the right opportunity. So when they work for FeldCare, are they subcontracted or do you contract them?
Yeah, no, great question. They all are independent contractors. Every state, what's interesting, Medicare is compliant, if you will. They're standard regulations throughout the entire country, right? So the concept of home health running through the entire country is very similar. The state has different aspects that we have to become aware of in terms of providing support in those different states or the credentials that are required for each different state. But everyone is an independent contractor and we maintain all of the credentials. Just imagine, so we developed a software called CliniConnects, and the software is twofold. It's kind of like Uber for home health, where the therapist downloads that app on their phone, and the offers, depending on how they set their territory, could be set by zip codes or radius. They get those offers from over 1,200. We're partnered with over 1,200 home health agencies throughout the country. So depending on where that therapist is and home health agency is, the therapist gets that offer and the therapist can either accept or reject. Now we have a whole internal office, of course, back end that helps and assists with everything that goes on. But and on top of that, the app or the software houses all the credentials that are required. So these agencies have to collect, during their surveys that they have to go through, they have to have all these credentials, right? And if they don't have the credentials, the Department of Public Health or Medicare will essentially fail them, shut them down.
Exactly. Are you just in the elder care area or are you in other areas as well?
As far as population goes, you mean?
Yeah.
We do service birth to 120.
So you do developmental therapy as well.
We on the insurance side, I've never got my foot in the door in the regional center world, or the 0 to 3. Although when I started, there was definitely, I was in that world, so there were several state agencies that wanted me in that field. I personally chose to stay out of it and really deal with the traditional home health, all ages, but it's insurance. Again, on the home health side, we get the referrals, the therapist picks up, but the agencies bill. We do outpatient in home as well, where we're actually the biller. So we're billing CPT codes and we do see early intervention. We see little kiddos. And the reason why is because, again, so many changes occurred and there wasn't enough. The state, gets money from the federal government and it's essentially paid through Medi-Cal or Medicaid, depending on where you are, right? So we saw obviously the need, and if the families had insurance, they were able to receive services through their insurance in the traditional outpatient and home world.
Okay.
But we do everything in the home.
All right, Doc, next question.
Well, this, it's amazing. Yeah, you must have another, I mean, you haven't had chance for another life. I mean, what do
You
you
never
do?
know.
What do you do for fun?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love to bicycle. We love being with my family. We have Friday night dinners and our friends that we get together with. And my husband has a motorcycle. So back in the day, we used to go on the motorcycle on trips and traveling. And it's all about, obviously we have to love what we do, right? I do love what I do, but definitely having my friends and family and, being with them. I love to read. This business is a family business. So my husband is very much involved. My older son is involved. My younger son was very much involved as well until he decided he wanted to go off to the software world. After we built the app, he definitely got that bug. But yeah, we're, very, very connected.
Well, that I want to get back to your app again. That's an amazing amount of information that you're collecting there. And it's, I couldn't even begin to understand how it's done. So I'd say congratulations. That sounds like a real milestone for you.
It was a brainstorm from my kids, to be honest. I am old school, and we all have these different like ridiculous quirks. Like I'll remember where a therapist is in terms of geography, and I can like point everybody, oh, that therapist, mind you, we have again thousands of therapists. So it's like, okay, Randy can't do this all. That's ridiculous. We'll never be able to grow. So it came out of that, to be honest, back in 2016, I think, and it just evolved and developed. And now we sell other companies use the app.
Oh, wow.
So it became,
Yeah.
a viable, we have investors, became a viable product. But yeah, we're constantly, obviously expanding and doing other things with the app as well.
Absolutely. Where's the best place people can find information on you? Where can they go?
Well, they can definitely go to our website, www.feldcareconnects.com, or they can go to feldcaredirect.com, or they can go to CliniConnects. We have several websites. And if anybody wants to talk to me or reach me, they can certainly, my phone is my umbilical cord here, to be quite honest, but they can certainly call me on my phone, 818-692-1675. And we are seriously really here to help. So I would, anybody needs it, I'd love to help them.
All right.